Welcome to the Culture and Education YouTube channel. Today, we're diving into one of the big ones, a true American epic, Herman Melville's Moby-Dick. Now, you might be surprised to hear this book was a total flop in its day. So how did it become this towering masterpiece? It all kicks off with probably the most famous opening line in all of literature, "Call me Ishmael." I mean, it's so simple, right? But it's not just an introduction, it's an invitation. Melville's basically grabbing you by the hand, pulling you away from the shore and saying, "Come on, we're going on an adventure." A huge, and as we'll find out, a really dangerous one. So let's meet our narrator, Ishmael. He's a guy who's just restless. He's got what he calls a damp, drizzly November in his soul. What a great line, right? He feels this pull to the sea. So he packs his bags and heads to the busy whaling port of New Bedford, Massachusetts. His plan? Sign up for a whaling voyage and, hopefully leave all his problems behind on the land. And right away, Ishmael gets thrown into a pretty intense situation. He gets to this crowded inn, and he's told he has to share a bed with a harpooner named Queequeg. Now, Queequeg is this tattooed Polynesian man, and Ishmael is frankly terrified. He thinks he's about to bunk with a cannibal, but that fear just completely dissolves. It turns into respect, and then this incredibly deep friendship. Ishmael even says better to sleep with a sober cannibal than a drunken Christian. And this bond they form, it's really the moral heart of the book, all about looking past the surface and seeing the person underneath. Okay, so with their friendship cemented, the two of them sign up for a voyage on a whaling ship called the Pequod. But right from the get-go, things feel off. There's this sense of dread hanging in the air. Some strange guy named Elijah starts giving them these vague, creepy prophecies about the ship. They see these shadowy figures sneaking aboard at night. And the biggest mystery of all, their captain, this guy named Ahab. Nobody's seen him. He's just hidden away in his cabin. And this is where the whole story just takes a hard turn. So, Captain Ahab finally makes his grand entrance, and whoa, what an entrance it is. This guy is genuinely terrifying. He's got a prosthetic leg made from the jawbone of a whale, and you can just see it in his eyes. He's a man driven by one thing and one thing only: revenge. He's hunting Moby-Dick, the massive white sperm whale that took his leg. But for him, this isn't just an animal. Oh no. To Ahab, that whale is the living, breathing embodiment of all the evil in the entire cosmos. Ahab gets up on deck and just electrifies the crew with this crazy, passionate speech. He literally nails a Spanish gold coin to the ship's mast and says, "This is for the first man who spots the white whale." Just like that, he completely hijacks what was supposed to be a business trip for whale oil. Now, it's his personal vendetta. His first mate, a guy named Starbuck, he's the only one who tries to be the voice of reason. He's like, "Hey, we're here to make money, not get revenge." But it's no use. Nobody can stand up to Ahab's sheer magnetic, crazy obsession. Everything builds to this insane 3-day-long final chase. On day 1, Moby-Dick shows up and just bites Ahab's boat clean in two. Day 2, the whale is back, smashing the other hunting boats to splinters and even breaking Ahab's ivory leg. Starbuck is pleading with him, "Let's go, this is madness." But Ahab, he just won't stop. Then comes day 3. The whale attacks the Pequod itself. In one last, defiant move, Ahab throws his harpoon. But the rope snaps back, catches around his neck, and yanks him out of the boat and down into the sea, tangled up forever with the very creature he was trying to kill. And then the Pequod, it just gets sucked down into a vortex, taking the whole crew with it. Everyone, the destruction is total. Well, almost everyone. The only one to survive is our narrator, Ishmael. And how does he survive? In this incredibly ironic twist, he's saved because he's floating on Queequeg's coffin, which had been turned into a lifebuoy. He's just floating out there alone for a day and a night until another ship finds him. He's the only one left to tell us this whole crazy story. But look, if you think this story is just about a bunch of guys hunting a whale, you're missing the point. To really get what's going on here, we have to do what the whalers do. We have to dive way, way below the surface and figure out what Melville was really trying to say. So that brings us to the biggest question in the whole book. What does the white whale actually represent? I mean, what is Moby-Dick? And the real genius of Melville's novel is that it never tells you. There is no single answer. The whale is basically a giant blank white screen, and every character, and even us as readers, we just project all of our own ideas, our fears, and our obsessions right onto it. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. You have three main characters looking at the exact same whale, and they see three completely different things. For Ahab, the whale is evil incarnate. It's a pasteboard mask hiding some cosmic rage that he has to destroy. For the practical, no-nonsense Starbuck, it's just a big fish, a dumb brute. He thinks trying to get revenge on an animal is completely insane. And for our guy Ishmael, the whale is something else entirely. It's a symbol of nature itself, beautiful, powerful, terrifying, and ultimately, completely indifferent to us. So this whole whale hunt, it's really just a vehicle for Melville to tackle some of the biggest questions we have. Think about it. The ship, the Pequod, is like a miniature version of the entire world. Its crew comes from everywhere, and through their journey, the book explores these huge themes. Humanity's battle against nature, the absolute danger of obsession, and, that universal human search for meaning in a world that often feels random and chaotic. So a book this deep, this ambitious, you'd think it was a smash hit right away, right? Well, not exactly. The story of how this book was received is almost as wild as the story of the whale hunt itself. Get this, in Herman Melville's entire life, Moby-Dick sold a little over 3,000 copies. That's it. 3,215 to be exact. It was a complete and utter commercial failure. I think he made something like $1,200 off it in total. Can you believe that? The book was actually out of print by the time he died. Yeah, the first reviews were not good. They were pretty brutal, actually. One critic called it an ill-compounded mixture of romance and matter-of-fact. Another just said it was outrageously bombastic. It really wasn't until the 1920s, during what's now called the Melville Revival, that people started to go back and rediscover this book. And that's when it finally got its due as the complex, profound masterpiece we know it as today, one of the great American novels. Which really brings us back to the biggest, most haunting question the book leaves you with. What do we make of Captain Ahab? Is he some kind of tragic hero, shaking his fist at a cruel and meaningless universe? Or is he just a cautionary tale, a terrifying example of what happens when obsession goes too far and destroys everything and everyone in its path? The book, of course, doesn't give you an easy answer. And honestly, that's probably why it's still so powerful today. If you found this insightful, please do subscribe to the Culture and Education channel. We've got a lot more deep dives into classic literature and big ideas coming your way.